Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Yasha Tayal. Today, I'm going to talk about superconductivity. In this video series, I'm going to talk about high temperature superconductors and their application. This is the topic which is in engineering physics under AKTU syllabus. About the various other topics of superconductivity, I have already discussed in my previous video lectures, which are named as superconductivity part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So high temperature superconductors are those materials which are having very high critical temperature. So these materials can show zero resistance. So superconductivity, we want resistance to be zero. So for superconductors, resistance can be zero if the material has material has been cooled below its transition temperature. So that transition temperature is defined by Tc. Tc is the critical temperature or transition temperature. So if this temperature is sufficiently low so that the material shows zero resistivity, then the material is termed as superconductors. So here we must identify certain elements which show zero resistance even at high temperature. So generally this critical temperature value where the material shows zero resistance lies near the values of liquid helium or liquid nitrogen, so which is near about less than 10 Kelvin. Now we have to identify elements which are having very high critical temperature, definitely which will have the uh, transition temperature above the range of liquid helium and liquid nitrogen. So these elements are not any pure elements. For pure elements, we have a restriction. They are having critical temperature below your values of 10 Kelvin. So if we use a combination of elements, multiple combinations, say for example 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, then they can show very high temperature. So very common superconductor which is used is a combination of yttrium, barium and copper. In this elements, the combination of this series can be taken where the transition temperature can be raised. Apart from this, elements which show or which have the perovskite crystal structure also show zero resistance at higher temperature, which is definitely above their values of their um, above liquid helium nitrogen range. So the perovskite material have very complex structure, which is actually combination of various alkali, alkaline earth metals along with the transition metal. So this is a very common structure. Now in this table, I have used this table as a combination in which we can identify various elements. And the top of this, the element which is having highest uh, critical temperature is a combination of lanthanum, barium, cupric oxide, which is in the short known as yttrium, barium, copper oxide. So this is in short known as YbCO. So this element which is having very high superconductivity above the value of boiling point of liquid nitrogen. So this is the very first element which shows very high temperature. Now in this figure, we can, from the bottom, I would like to emphasize. So the very first definition of superconductivity was given by H. Cavalli-Mons, which compared the value of transition temperature to the value of mercury. Now, if this value is very, if the value, if we can identify the value of mercury for transition temperature is 4.2 Kelvin. Now, if any element is found having value of transition temperature above this, then that can be identified here. Going higher to it is the value of liquid helium. In liquid helium, we can find the values 4.2. Again, if you are using a simple element, a pure element, niobium, it is also having a value less than 10 Kelvin. So this is not the range for our high temperature superconductors. In high temperature superconductors, we generally take elements if have if having transition temperature greater than 25 Kelvin. So this is the range we have actually considered to study the values of high temperature superconductors. Now, the value of various alloys like niobium tin or niobium titanium are also having critical temperature less than 20 Kelvin. Liquid hydrogen is also having its value of around 20 Kelvin. Again, liquid oxygen, nitrogen, they are around 90 to 77 But in between, we are having certain alloys, which these are iron-based superconductors, which show superconductors conductivity and are considered as high temperature superconductors. So these are having transition temperature 55, 41, and 26 Kelvin. So these are actually your samarium. So these are the lanthanide series elements, samarium ion series, and again cerium and lanthanum. So these are the compounds made from combination of lanthanum and iron-based compound, which show superconductivity. If you move a bit higher, using a bit more combination of elements, we are having certain copper oxide superconductors. Very famous is mercury, barium, calcium, cupric oxide, which is having a transition temperature of over 133 Kelvin. And again, the combination of bismuth, strontium, calcium, cupric oxide, which is having a transition temperature of 110 Kelvin. And again, our very basic yttrium, barium, cupric oxide, which is having 93 Kelvin. So these are all our high temperature superconductors which we have used. If we compare the operating value of this temperature with the temperature recorded on Earth, again this is very less. So our lowest temperature recorded on Earth is actually 184 Kelvin, and these elements which are showing superconductivity even below 184 Kelvin are these all of our high temperature superconductors. So this value is even higher to that of our dry ice. Dry ice value of dry ice temperature is actually 195 Kelvin. So our very famous high temperature superconductors are copper oxide superconductors, which are having their transition temperature from 133 to 93 Kelvin. Then again, iron-based superconductors, which are having the value of transition temperature from 55 to 26 Kelvin. So these are very important elements because as we have raised the temperature, so we can actually find their utility in our environment where they in our technical based application we can identify them where they can be used. Now moving over to the next part is application of superconductors. Superconductors have various applications. As the moment we say these elements show zero resistance, which means that current can pass through them without any hindrance. So we can have an imagination of a number of applications through which these elements can be used. So very first application which I would like to focus here is as per from this diagram anyone can guesses these are some example of very smart trains. They are looking like super fast trains. So this is a maglev based train. So this train is actually based upon the principle of levitation, magnetic levitation. So this is based upon this principle. So under this principle what happens is that when uh, we are using a superconductor and over it if we place a magnet, so over a superconductor we're placing a magnet like this in this diagram you can realize. So this magnet will start hovering around it as this material will go into the superconducting phase. And when we remove the when we actually increase the temperature, so this material will be no more in the superconducting state, then again this material will fall or it will rest on this element. So this is how the train is started or it is stopped. So when we want to stop the train, then we can remove, we actually have to increase the critical temperature and so that the operating temperature, so that the material can rest on this surface. This is how these trains are stopped. And these trains are having very high speed from 500 to 580 kilometer per hour. So these are definitely very faster than any wheeled transit system. So these are having very high values than any wheel mass transit train. So this is the very fantastic application of superconductivity. Again, we can think about a bit more type of application for this particular topic. As we are saying that these elements are having very zero resistance, so resistivity will be definitely zero. So there won't be any loss of current. There won't be loss of current. So we can imagine about persistent current. If there is persistent current, then it can hold a pivotal to the various storing devices. This will be highly important for certain type of materials, like for electrogenerated transformer, where they can be used without very they can be used with very high efficiency. So these elements will be definitely potential for towards this. Again, from if you think about this from the maglev train, which is part of actual transportation, we can even think about medical application. So superconductivity is used in the NMR. It's very common term these days. Nuclear magnetic resonance scanning. In this, we can actually scan the brain to identify any defective cell or any tumor or any type of non specific organ. If it's developing there, then we can identify it. It can identify between a healthy tissue and a damaged tissue by by actually calibrating with the preserved system there. Superconducting solenoids are very important again. So these is actually based upon magnetohydrodynamic power generation, and through this we actually differentiate between the any particular cell which is prescribed as healthy cell, and if something different to the healthy cell, that is considered as the damaged cell. Further, if you move to the engineering application of superconductivity, so these superconductors have show, as we know, that zero resistance, so their transmission will be definitely fantastic. These can be used for various switching devices. Instant we will get the result. These are actually very sensitive electrical instruments can be generated. Definitely in computers they can be used for storage elements, as they won't be any losses by read and write operation. So these are used for manufacturing of generators and transformers. Another fantastic application of superconductivity is SQUID. SQUID is superconducting quantum interference device. So this device is very important because this is used in the various forms. It is various best form of detector. It's the best non-detector till date we have been found. So it is actually based upon Josephson junction, in which this topic we can actually study in detail in the other part. So in this element is so these squids are very important in detecting the devices. So this is again a fantastic application of superconductors. Then we have cryotrons. Cryotrons is actually a switch type of device which is based upon superconductivity. It it is based upon the development and demolition of magnetic fields. So as magnetic field is surpassed above a particular magnetic field, the superconductivity will be destroyed. So this is basically the concept of a cryotron. So these finds again various applications in which we want to eliminate the unwanted magnetic field. So these are some of the major applications of superconductivity. The resources, the content of this particular derivation which I have used is from the very famous book Concept of Modern Physics by Arthur Balser and Solid State Physics by S.U. Pillai. So I hope this video found useful to you regarding the high temperature superconductors and application of superconductors. Further, again, we can talk about other parts of this, other parts topics which are in the AKTU syllabus for physics. Thank you for patiently watching this video. Thank you so much.